Hello, good morning, Africa. Good morning, South Sudan. Welcome to African Morning Breakfast Show, coming to you right here on SABC from South Sudan capital, Juba. My name is Majur Cholko. Today is a brand new day, and as we continue to bring to you issues that matters to you in these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show, we are going to look into the role of young people in participating and promoting democratic elections in South Sudan. And to join me in this edition is the renowned veteran journalist, previously known of his journalistic works, news articles, and opinions that are being published by different media outlets in the country. I'm talking about the former press secretary in the office of the president, Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny. Ateny has been one of the loyal official to the government of South Sudan since he has been serving in the top leadership in the country, and in this interview we'll find out whether he is still loyal to the government or he has changed of mind. He will also, however, help us to understand what is expected from the young people in promoting peaceful democratic election in South Sudan as the country awaits December 2024 general election. Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny, allow me to say it, I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have this great opportunity to host you in African Morning Breakfast Show for the first time. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear young man and a journalist. I'm happy that I am called today to participate in a show, the breakfast show. I've never been in a breakfast show in the SSBC in my entire career of 9 years as press secretary in the office of the president. I've been discussing a number of issues with the SSBC, but not on a breakfast show. So now I'm happy I'm doing breakfast with.
Thank you so much, Honorable. To begin with, when you were serving in the office of the president in the last 9 years that you mentioned, how was your feelings when you were serving in the office of the president?
Well, my feeling was great because that was the highest office in the land, and everybody is privileged to everybody who have an opportunity to be part of that office should feel honored and privileged to served in the highest office in the land. So I was great.
When you look back, do you think you have not done enough?
Well, as human being, you cannot finish everything. Anybody, you have things to achieve and things also to leave for others to achieve. That is why the roles are changed. If your role is changed from this to that, then your successor would pick it from where you stood. And nobody can find himself to have done anything complete. So I didn't do anything complete, but I did my.
Well, thank you, Honorable. Have you ever dreamed like if there is a need for President to have you closer to him again?
Well, the President has always a choice to make. We don't choose to be around him, but he chooses who should be around him. For the last 9 years, he has chosen me to be around him for 9 years, longer than anybody there. But when he has also a choice to bring others around him and put me outside a bit, that was also his choice, which I also respect. And I am not feeling bothered at all.
Thank you so much, and dear viewer, thank you so much. This is the man that has been behind all the media-related information in the office of the president for the last 9 years, Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny, the former press secretary in the office of the president. That is brief about what he is feeling about being in the presidency for the 9 years and now also being out in the presidency. In this discussion, we are not going to talk a lot about how he has been serving in the government, but we are going to look at him as one of South Sudanese officials who has experience to help young people in the Republic of South Sudan to understand what is the role of young people in South Sudan in contribution to the peaceful democratic election as the country awaits December 2024 general election. Honorable Ateny, what triggered me to have this conversation with you is following the election exercise that was carried out by some youth from Jonglei State, which triggered you also to write an article on your social media handles, and then we had to reach out to you and also have this platform to share with you. So as a leader, what do you think that South Sudanese youth should know about election? In your own perspective, how do you define election?
First of all, I'm glad that some of youth have now decided to make sure they exercise democracy in their own right, in their own way. Though these are not political elections, they are social elections. Nonetheless, socio-economic situation is always akin to any activity a human being can carry out at a time. So I'm glad the youth are getting it there, are getting a way to acquaint themselves with how democracy works. The youth of Duquesne, Dukpadiet, Dukpawiel have done that before the Twitch East. Then the Twitch East replicated the same thing. And each time the election is done, the other institutions that come after you benefit from your weaknesses. So any weaknesses in Duquesne was avoided in the Twitch East elections. And the Twitch East election became one of the best youth elections that I've seen in the country so far. The Boer youth also benefited from the shortcomings of the youth of Twitch East election. And so they replicated the same thing, but they went extra mile because the way their media was set up was very tremendous, and it went extra stepped on top of the Twitch East youth elections. With that said, youth have the intentions to be what they are, and they wanted to be the engine of change for the country. So, to come to your questions as to what role youth are likely to play in the political setting of the country. Youth have a lot to do, particularly when the elders, our elders, I'm included in the elders now when I speak because my children are within the youth organizations. We have interference on youth elections, which is quite unfortunate. Instead of looking to youth to guide us on what is the modern, or how modern things actually look like, because they have access to how modern politics is carried out. Some of us are adamant to see that youth should follow them, when in actual fact some of elders don't even have the experience that is required, don't even have the skills that is required to guide the young people. So young people have a choice to make.
Honorable, based on your experiences, and apart from the recent youth activities in the country that trigger you, have you ever witnessed any election from any country which was peaceful, and what was your takeaway?
Well, I've witnessed a lot of elections in other countries. I believe in United Kingdom. And I'm not only witnessing the election, I participated in electing the leaders of that country, because United Kingdom being my second home, I have witnessed their elections several times. But they are advanced country. They are not to be equated with this emerging democracy in Africa. We are a nascent state, And so our institutions are still nascent. We are building on them to bring them to the level that will make them competitive. But the free and fair elections requires more than just an election. It requires even the institution that safeguards the word free and fair. In order for things to be free and fair, this is a big thing, and it is ambitious. I know South Sudan will get there, but with time. We cannot rush into it. We will have the election next year, but the description of the election that will come next year, we are not going to talk about it now until we see that election coming. Because if we talk about it now, we will be preempting what is not necessary now. So we wait for the election. I hope we benefit from the 2010 elections debacles, so that we change into better things. But the SPLM leaders has been assuring that within the election, within the elections, there will be primaries. That someone will not find himself or herself as a flag bearer of the SPLM, whether at the Payam, Buma, county, or a state level, or national level, without getting to primaries. This is quite promising. If it happens like that, then we will have the right people in the right place.
Well, Honorable, looking at young people participation in a peaceful democratic elections, what are the important parts of elections if young people in South Sudan participated in a peaceful democratic election?
Well, when we talk about young people, we are talking about those who have 16 years now, who will be actually voters in 2025 elections, and those who are 17 years, and those who are already turning 18 years. And then we continue to 35 years old. That's the youth we are talking about. This segment of society makes almost 70% of the population. So we are talking about huge percentage that we must make sure they are participant, not only participant, they are leading participant. I'm particular to the children that were born in 2005 during the CPA, Comprehensive Peace Agreement, and the children born in 2006, and the children born in 2007, both of them will be voters. These three categories of children who would be actually voters have a lot to learn from us. Because first of all, they were not born during the war, so you cannot talk to them about the battle the SPLM has fought. So we need to start from now on how to engage youth, particularly those born in 2005, 2006, and 2007. Any political party that doesn't look into this segment of youth organizations is going to have it very difficult. And I'm particular to our SPLM to ensure that they engage the children born after war, and make sure those children are engaged fully so that they understand what do we want to do for this country.
Honorable, you mentioned that 70% of the country's population is said to be youth.
Yes.
And looking at the political parties' activities in the country, and majority of youth might have been affiliated to these political parties. So what political space do you want the youth of South Sudan to create for them to contribute into a peaceful democratic election?
No, the youth don't create political space. It is created for them. It is the other way around. what kind of political space the government should create in order for youth to participate. That would have been the questions. Because the youth are not the one running the leadership of the country.
But Honorable, there are some youth that forums of youth, like SPLM Youth League, there are youth they're leading. So these youth leagues are being led by youth leaders. So don't you think that they can create a space?
No, but they need a space created for them. And this is what the SPLM is exactly doing. The SPLM and the other parties within the revitalized peace agreement or resolution of conflict seem to be determined to ensure that the political space is created for all the segment of the society to be able to participate in an election that will be called free and fair. Because if one segment of society is marginalized, then you will not talk about election being free and fair. So the political space seems to be on the way to its creation by the political parties that will be participating in the election, so that everybody participate freely in the election. And the earlier they open it, the better, because it should happen. It should happen now, not later.
Honorable, you said you are between the youth and elders. So where are you?
Well, I should not be between the youth and elders like that. The elders begin at the age I am in now. So in some places, you cannot think 60-year-old man is a very young person, except in a situation where people don't consider age to be one important factor in human progress.
Okay, I'm asking this. In this interview, do you want me to consider you as a youth or as an elder?
Well, I am not a youth, I'm an elder, because my children are youth. So, if I say I am youth, then I will be shitting myself.
Do you think that in this situation as country, we're talking about youth participation in general election, do you think the country right now is maybe hostile for youth participation in peaceful democratic election? Or do you say the country or the environment is not hostile?
No, there's no hostility. The country was facing a situation. This is a country that emerged out of war to get into another war, just 2.5 years later. So the government of South Sudan has never got an opportunity to have even a space for itself to think on how to create a space for the political parties to maneuver. So all of us are victims in this war. The government is victim, and the citizens are also victims in the war. So the revitalized peace agreement on resolution of conflict seemed to have created a small opportunity for anybody to think of a political party. That is a very significant step forward. Now, what we do expect from the government of national unity is to allow much wider political space for anybody to be able to participate in a democratic election.
Well, Honorables, are you still loyal to the government?
Yeah, of course. Whose government is? You know, who should own the government? The government is the government of the Republic of South Sudan, to which I subscribe to. I've been a member of government in the executive for the last 9 years. That is a very big privilege. I shouldn't be hostile to this government forever. Okay? So now, as staying outside a bit, it doesn't take me away from being member of government. I'm still a member of government. I'm still loyal to the government. I'm still loyal to President Salva Kiir. Because there's no animosity, there's nothing that has created itself that would prevent me from being loyal.
Now, what is going to be your contribution in promoting a peaceful democratic election by 2024? if you are not appointed and you are still loyal to the government and you are not in the position and you are not a youth?
I have a lot to contribute. One is to volunteer and help the SPLM to make its campaign for the elections. If I'm given a role, then let it be. But if I'm not given a role, as I am not leaving this country, okay, I will still be participating. I will be participating in a way, either with the media sector or with the SPLM political campaign agents. I can volunteer because, you know, in life, young men, people become member of government one time only. If you manage to be in the government twice and thrice, that is absolutely your luck. Once you become a member of government, you are bound by what the government does, whether negatively or positively. Okay? Let's take the example of those who left Umar al-Bashir government in 2004 to come back later on, after 24 years, to get the government of Bashir collapsing. And they went to the same prison with al-Bashir. This should be an eye-opener for South Sudanese. Once you are a member of a government, you are a member of government for the rest of your life. If that government is still in power, okay, whether you are working, you are not working, you are a member of government because you are bound by what the government did during your time, whether positive or negative. If there is a credit for the government of Salva Kiir to take from 2013 to 2022, when I was there, that credit also comes to me. Well, if there is a negative thing, that negative is still haunting me.
You did mention right now that if you are not taken back to the government to hold any position, then you may contribute in the media sector and other things. Yeah. This will bring me to ask you a question of, do you say that you want to revive your journalistic career?
No, I will not, because I'm still in doubt with some classified information. Human being is not an easy animal, by the way. If I started, that is why I actually write on my page, okay? Sometimes, and I only choose what topic to talk about. I talk about a topic if it is follow-up. It cannot lure me into a situation whereby I will be talking about classified information, because I have the responsibility. I have the duty to protect this country, whether in government or outside the government. So I will not be resuming full writing, but I will be selectively writing from time to time. Now, maybe if time goes, I can establish a newspaper. And establishing newspaper, I will have to be involved in a managerial part of it, but I cannot be involved in writing on daily basis. Because if I write on daily basis, I might slip into sharing with the public the information that is not yet opened for public.
That means you have some information in the long run that you have been serving in the government that you don't want even to disclose.
No, even if I was mute and blind totally, and you stay in an institution for 9 years and you don't learn anything from it, something that would be called classified, then you shouldn't have been there completely.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable. We'll come back to you and find out what are the obstacles that you may think South Sudanese youth will face during an election if the election is not organized in a rightful manner. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following these editions of African Morning Breakfast Show coming to you right here from South Sudan capital, Juba. My name is Majur Cholkur, and my guest remains as Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny, the former press secretary in the office of the president. We're talking about the role of young people and youth in a country like South Sudan in promoting and participating in a peaceful democratic election. Let's have a break. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back, dear viewer. Thank you so much for continuing following African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. We still have the man who has been behind the media-related issues in the office of the President, the former press secretary, Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny. Honorable, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Yes, as we went for break, I did mention that we'll come and look into the possible challenges that we are envisioning right now in the December 2024 general election that the youth in the country may encounter. But before they encounter these challenges, can you maybe shed some light on how they can address them before it happens?
Yes, first of all, like any other member of this society, youth will be faced with three things. One, they will be faced with the lack of democratic culture. What I mean by democratic culture is that majority of our people think you should not differ in opinion with them. And this is a major problem. In our society, particularly the Dinka society, it used to be very democratic because a common man can walk to the chief. Chief was the highest authority in the local level for the Dinka people those days. I'm talking about what I know. A common person will walk to the chief and tell the chief, listen, I want to tell you what I think is right. The chief will have to listen attentively to the common man. That person will narrate what he thinks the chiefs have not done properly. And after all, he walks away. Now, in our modern society, because we were in the Sudan being marginalized, and Sudan was a theocratic state, our people, particularly those who were born and raised during the Sudan era, did not come close to how democracy is practiced. Because what was said in Khartoum was final. Even if you are in Numili, something was done in Khartoum will have to affect you negatively or positively while you are in Numili. And you have no right to question it. Now, some of us who were born during the Sudan, I was born in 1964, that means 8 years after the independence of the country, Sudan, on the January 1st, 1956. So I was born 8 years into the independence. So I was born into the Sudan and grew into that political system. If I weren't lucky, or in one way or the other, to get the opportunity to be in London or in Western World, so that I acquaint myself on how things are done differently, I wouldn't be different today. I would still be thinking that what is decided politically is the right one. And nobody has right to question what the politician has done. Because we used to accept what is being done in Khartoum to be the right thing. Now, with South Sudan becoming the country of South Sudan is new, but people are not new. In 2011, okay, the majority of those who are now holding seats in government were those who were in the Sudan. It is either they have got the opportunity of seeing how other things are done differently somewhere, or they have not seen it.
Okay.
So it will be difficult for them to differ with them in opinion, to accept being, to accept differing in opinion as a normal process. So this is what the youth are going to face, is one. The second thing, we don't have pension age in South Sudan. Now, if I was in London, I am left with only 6 years to retire, whether I want or I don't want. At 65 in UK, I will be a retired man in the next 6 years. But I am almost now beginning. I'm beginning now. So I am not even thinking of even retirement in the next 20 years. Okay? I am not thinking, because in South Sudan, I have not yet begun anything. I did not begin anything. I was a staff in the office of the president. I have not yet even started the political work in the country. So I am now beginning. So I am beginning in 60. So majority of people before me, they began at their 60s. Okay? And now they are 10 years into their political career. So they are waiting for another 20. They will retire at 90 years if they don't go to grave. This is going to be another problem the youth will face. Because you will come to my constituency, you are looking at my eyes, that I will leave you in the next 6 years so that you run the momentum, and you will not find me leaving you. I will not leave you. If I don't leave you, it is either you will accept the reality and wait for as long as it takes, and you become part of us, or you retired before me. There are youth who have retired because they don't have the space, so they retired. Even within the community organization, which should be the beginning of how the political organization should look like, because it is the same people.
Okay, honorable.
If we can't do election in the community level, then the political level will be a different thing. This is number 2. Number 3, the youth will face the economic challenges, because youth are not properly empowered, and the country has economic difficulties. Okay? Anybody who doesn't have money to campaign, just get lost. Because you won't be able to, because the people have not reached the level of looking at your beautiful manifesto. What do you want to do in future? People are not there yet. People are still fighting on, whether they will afford basic need or not. So like fish would want to be in a certain water. Okay? A politician, depending on which society the politician is in. Because if a fish is in a dirty water, okay, the dirty water dictates only a certain type of fish can survive. That's the black fish. The eels and the catfish can survive in the dirty water. But when the water becomes more dirty, okay, the catfish get farish, and the eels get extra centimeter dipped on earth, and will be the only surviving one. So the politician, okay, play in a society. Depending on how civilized is the society, politician is part of that society.
Honorable, you mentioned a lot, and I believe you have still more challenges. Yeah. But let's look at what you have mentioned as a possible challenge to the youth. You talk of the opinion that the people's serving right now, they will battle with the opinions of ideas.
Because they don't see the difference in opinion is a normal thing.
Yes. Do you think this is going to result as maybe the youth are going to be insecure?
Depending on how they will actually treat this. Because youth are not one person. They are two different people. There are youth who are even lecturers, who are even living luxurious life, because They have their uncles, they have their maternal uncles or their paternal uncles, they have their aunties, and they are well off. There are youth that are well off, and there are youth that, but majority of them, okay, will suffer from economic hazard. So it is there to decide on their individual base, because they will not sit collectively and make decisions.
I'm like, are the youth participation in the democratic election going to be a kind of having insecurity? Because if they're going to differ with ideas of these people leading right now, do you think they're going to be insecure, the youth?
Well, I don't think they will be insecure, because when we get to elections, election in Africa, in most part of Africa, means going back to your community. Going back to your community means going back to your section, and even up to the family level. That's what it means. So if you find somebody rejecting you, differing with him in opinion, you will still be finding solace in your community and your sections. Okay? But that is not how the politics is done. Government should create a space and make sure that whoever participates in the coming election has security and has what it takes for anybody differing in opinion with you.
Since you did mention that you are not youth right now, you are an elder, and you are starting your political career at this very age you are in.
Yeah.
Are you dreaming to contest?
As what?
As any position?
Well, I have not yet decided that, because the same thing I was talking here also is applicable to me. I don't have money. If I don't have money, it will depend on my assessment to the community I come from. If the community I come from is able to understand between A and B, the difference between A and B, then I will say I will contest. But if my assessment tells me that they will not understand the difference between A and B, they will only understand who would be providing to their tables, then I will not, because I don't have money. And politics is about having money, by the way.
Honorable, when you were relieved, you did not leave the country. Why?
Well, I cannot leave the country because, it's my decision to be here. I'm a British citizen also. I have a dual citizenship in the United Kingdom. But I decided to be in Juba. Even when I was, appointed by the president, I was 6.5 years in this country without working with government, and I stayed. So it's my decision that I cannot go back and stay in a foreign land, because I wanted this country, okay, to enjoy, okay, what I should provide for that country, for this country.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny, for accepting our invitation for this interview. Before I let you go, when you were serving in the presidency, have you ever regretted serving in the office of the president?
No, I've never regretted. I cannot regret serving the office of the president. This is the office anybody is privileged to be in. Even you now as a journalist, you are also dreaming to be part of that office. Okay? If I were to have even a choice of who should succeed me, who should have succeeded me, okay, I would have looked at journalists, the best journalists I know in the country, and recommend them.
If President dream of you today, can you be loyal to him again, like before?
If he does what?
He dream of you today, will you be loyal to him again? Even if not the press secretary, but the honey position?
No, I will still be loyal to him. Even now, I'm loyal to him. I'm not working with him, but I'm still loyal to him. And South Sudanese culture, particularly after the war, is that you are in government today. When you are relieved tomorrow, you are a rebel again. So that you negotiate yourself in for a new position. I don't subscribe to that kind of culture. Okay? I'm loyal with the president. I'm loyal to the president.
Thank you so much.
If he employ me or he doesn't employ me, I'm fine.
Thank you so much. What could be your message? See the camera to the people who are looking at Ateny Wek Ateny the former press secretary in the office of the president. Your message for peace for them as they are waiting the December 24th.
My message for peace is that what brought war to us was only looking for positions. People were fighting to get positions. Okay? They got them. That is why now a gun is a bit silent. But they got them on expense of ordinary citizens. Because a huge government will have less to do in terms of service. So what I'm telling people of South Sudan is to fight for a position in the means that is acceptable. The mean that is acceptable is forming your political party, is saying your opinion while you are in Juba here, okay? Don't rebel. This is the message to the people. Next year election has placed this country between two roads. South Sudan is in junction. It is either we contest the election to win or lose. But if those who are holding political power wanted to contest in order to win, it will create another chaos, God forbid. And this is my message to the people of South Sudan. Go for election, contest it. If you lose, concede the election. Concede, please, the defeat. If I am to contest and I lose, I will concede the defeat and come back and sit as a normal citizen. They cannot follow me into my farm in order to take my hooves out of my hands. So, you know, if somebody go to my farm and then take my hoe away so that I don't cultivate for myself, this is where I will take something to fight, of course. But position is not a problem. This is what I want to tell people of South Sudan. Don't fight for position.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ateny Wek Ateny. And dear viewer, thank you so much for following these special editions of African Morning Breakfast Show right here on SABC. Honorable Ateny, once again, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to have this conversation with South Sudanese, the viewers of African Morning Breakfast Show. It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.